We're gonna take half a pound of lean beef cut into small cubes, and we're gonna add that to a medium-sized pot. We're gonna take a little bit of turmeric, red chili powder, garam masala, and of course salt and pepper, and add that in. To that, we're gonna add 3/4 cup of water. And we're gonna stir all that together. Put the heat on high and let that come to a boil. So after about 5 minutes, we're gonna turn the heat down to medium. We're gonna let the beef continue to cook and soak up all the water and the spices, and that usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes. So while the beef cooks, we're gonna go ahead and get started on our masala. So into a preheated pan, we're gonna add some oil, and we're gonna wait for the oil to get hot. Now we're gonna add in our thinly sliced onions. And we wanna allow the onions to cook down until they start to turn brown. Okay, so now our onions are starting to turn brown and caramelize and really get soft. We're gonna go ahead and add in our ginger and garlic. So while the onion, garlic, ginger mixture is cooking, we're gonna go ahead and check on our beef. And looks like it's perfect. So all the water has evaporated and all the spices have soaked into the beef. So we can turn the heat off and let it just sit here and cool down. So into our onion, garlic, ginger mixture, we're gonna add in 1 stem of curry leaves. Okay, you can roughly chop it or just tear it. All right. So I went ahead and minced the beef down in a food processor, and I'm gonna go ahead and add it now to our spice mix. So we just wanna stir everything together until the flavors come together and marry, and that's really all there is to our filling. Now it's time for the pastry. So I've already preheated our oven to 350 degrees and sprayed down a cookie tray. Today we're gonna be using a store-bought puff pastry, and you can find this in the freezer aisle of any grocery store. So onto a clean surface, you're gonna sprinkle on some all-purpose flour so the dough won't stick to the surface. So I've already let my puff pastry thaw out a little bit. I'm gonna place it right here onto the floured surface. And it should look like this. So I'm just gonna kind of rub in and remove some of the flour that's on there, and then flip it over and do the same thing. And I'm using my hands to kind of gently roll out the dough as well. So using an egg wash that I made with 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of milk whisked together, I'm gonna go ahead and brush this throughout the surface of the puff pastry. Now we're gonna place the filling in rows onto the puff pastry. You're gonna go in small portions and using your hands kind of create little rolls. We're gonna repeat the same thing on the other side. Now comes the fun part. You wanna carefully fold over the edges, then cut each pastry down the middle. Then use a fork to press the edges together to seal in all the meat. Now using the egg wash from before, we're gonna go over the tops, and this is gonna make them look really pretty and golden brown. So now we're gonna transfer these babies onto the already sprayed cookie sheet. I like to half them and half them again, so you get 4 per roll. So as you cut, wiggle and separate them to create some space between each square. Now they're all ready for the oven. And these babies will need to bake for about 25 to 30 minutes or until golden brown. All right, let's get them out. So I'm just gonna let them cool down for a little bit so I can taste it to make sure they are as good as they look. Now for the best part. You can taste the spiciness of the meat, and the crust is so flaky, and it's the perfect ratio of meat to crust, so it's the perfect appetizer. The hardest part is gonna be stopping at